Hello guys, on Sort of Films, aka Maliki here, and for today's video we are going to be looking at some more 80th anniversary merch that I've gotten today. And it will also be the second one in a row in which for the running session I don't have to rip up a set that I had previously been filming on compared to the 80th anniversary Player L. Thomas when I was filming Derek Takes Charge in another upcoming Season 4 episode. Annalise's flashback in Road to Rome Museum, a scene with the one I did on Duck and Flying Scotsman. And the ending to Duke and the Unexpected Guest, a scene with the Motorized Thomas and Percy. And for a bit of fun, I decided to pair up my pre-All Engines Go Motorized Annie and Clara with Thomas. And this also includes, as seen in my last review, Ryan and the Lost Treasure, my upcoming three-parter, which is a rewrite of Sodor's Legend of the Lost Treasure with Ryan as the main character, as well as the next 3 episodes of Season 4, as I said in the description of the trailer for it. So yeah, the setup is basically a lot like the one that you saw in the one I did of Duck and Flying Scotsman, although it also includes a lot of the ones that I didn't have at the time, or the other model projects that I didn't have, or didn't make, well, haven't made at the time, such as my new Railway Series Toby, and my model of the Mine Engine, aka Marie, that I accidentally lost while I was at the Orgy Extravaganza 5, but I was fortunate enough to find it. This does also include the new push-along Thomas and Percy that I showed off in the Lady of the Lost Engine commentary live stream. And I also included the 2 characters from my 80th anniversary of the Railway Series special, Road to Rome Museum. Those being Annalise and Christopher. Well, because the reason Christopher was number 80 is as a reference to the 80th anniversary. And for those of you who are wondering what are we going to be having a look at today, well, we are going to be having a look at the new Push Along 2025 James and the new Motorized 2025 Nia. We'll start with Nia first. So yeah, let's start with the packaging. Pretty much the same stuff that we've looked at before. And Nia's name has a trademark for some reason. Don't know why they did that. And on the back you've pretty much got all the ones available, and I pretty much have all of them, so I'm pretty much down to the new Talking Thomas, the Fingersound set that I keep forgetting the name of, and maybe some of the free packs. And I did consider getting another James for a custom Edward and use this for the face. So yeah, with that out of the way, let's get Nia out of the box. Off screen like I did last time. Alright, so Nia's out of the box, so let's take a closer look at her, shall we? Up close she does look pretty good. And also, before taking her out of the box, I did also watch Extreme Train Teaser's review on it, and he did also point out how her forehead looks a bit too big. And I could sort of see why he would point that out, compared to my other Nias, like my Playrail Nia that I got in the pack with Thomas and Ace, and looking at the both of them side by side, I kind of feel that they probably could have reused Thomas's wheelbase chassis for Nia compared to reusing Percy's as compared to the Motorized Nia. And to my other Trackmaster, like the 70th anniversary Metallic Nia, which was my first Trackmaster Nia I got, since my first Nia in like motorized form overall was the Playrail Nia. And this one that I got for my 17th birthday back in 2020. And I do also like how the cylinder on this Nia also isn't squished compared to the Trackmaster 2 one. And I guess this one that I heavily modified into my OC Arnold to make him look a lot like the engine he was based off of. You can also probably tell, given by most of the stuff that on the original one, I had to remove. And speaking of Arnold, in Ryan and the Lost Treasure, I actually have a thought of having a bit in it where Arnold says, "Well, I didn't really do anything," as a reference to Arnold from the CGI series of Fireman Sam. And also, the lining on her water tank isn't coloured in compared to my Trackmaster and Playrail Nias. I'm not sure if I already pointed that out. And the same can be also said with the whistle, because that's not present either. But other than that, I do think Nia looks pretty good. And she has also got the stepladder, like with Thomas, Percy, and Duck, which is another thing that I really like. And she also does have her windows printed on, which is something not present on the Trackmaster Nias, and not sure, maybe the Playrail Nia, but can't tell because I've repainted mine. So yeah, despite that I thought her forehead looks a bit too big, I think Nia looks pretty good. Now for the little truck that she came with. So the truck that Nia came with looks pretty decent. Don't think I have that much trucks that are painted yellow in the collection, besides the Playrail yellow truck that came with the LBSC Thomason Origins James pack, and the little yellow truck that came with the Trackmaster Cassidy set. And here it is next to my other trucks from the new motorized range. The next ones I'll be getting will be the Annie and Clarabelle with the new Talking Thomas, and the blue truck that was in the Vickerstown set that I keep forgetting the name of, because having a truck, well, I do think having a Trackmaster 2 / motorized truck in the same length as the classic Trackmaster and Playroll trucks is pretty cool. And I have considered getting that set for Christmas as well. So that's the new Motorized Nia out of the way. Now we're going to be having a look at the new push-along CGI James, and I guess share my thoughts on the new push-along range. So when I first saw the new push-along Thomas in the Diamond Ruby pack, I was pretty much blown away with how good it looks. And it does look a lot better compared to the pre-All Engines Go push-alongs. And I do think the new push-along CGI Thomas looks a lot better compared to the pre-All Engines Go push-alongs, because it pretty much screams improvement in every way, and especially the fact that it's pretty much like a cross between push-along and Ertl, as I said before. So let's take a look at the packaging for James before I take him out of the box. Here's the back. And here's the front with got Mel Collection over here, the Thomas & Friends logo over there, James's name over there, the 80th anniversary logo next to James. So with that out of the way, let's take James out of his box, shall we? So here's James out of the box, and wow, he looks brilliant, and a lot better compared to his 2019 to his pre-All Engines Go counterpart. And that's pretty much another thing that I'm very impressed by the new CGI push-alongs, because they look a lot better compared to, well, this. Especially given how the squashed cabs are gone, as well as the squashed domes. Everything about the new CGI push-alongs is just chef's kiss. And given how I've said that the new push-along Thomas is like a cross between the Ertl and push-along Thomas, here's the push-along James next to a Ertl sticker face James. I have also modified it so that the tender would be detachable, like what I did with Henry and Jock. I had also previously done that with Gordon and Edward, but I removed the tender couplings and reverted them back to the way they were originally, like as seen in Road to Rare Museum. And also, since it's the first range in which diecast range in which the engines have side rods since Ertl and Tomica. The side rods on this James are also coloured in gold compared to the Ertl one, in which they are coloured in black. And I personally don't mind the fact that they're coloured gold. And here he is next to my Adventures Talking James. And I also tried sorry about that, and I also tried colouring in the running board white with paint pen, and it doesn't really look very good. And also the whistle on this James is on there compared to the new James where the whistle is on the cab. And here he is next to some of my push-along pre-all engines go push-on Jameses, such as this one. That was my attempt at customizing it into a metallic push-along James, but it does kind of like look more pinkish. So I kind of like took a pink James and they push-along Origins James as seen in The Adventure Begins. And the whistles are also painted on these guys compared to the new one, which it is moulded on. So that's also pretty cool. I also do like the fact that it also has an open cab, something that we probably haven't seen since pre-2010 to before they switched to the wooden railway style magnets take and play. That's another thing I really like about this. And on the subject of this being the first die-cast range to have side rods since Ertl and Tomica, and also when I was trying to get this James out of the box, I kept setting off my motorized talking engines that I have, which is a massive annoyance. I was unsure if Thomas Engine Collection Series counts. Maybe because they have moving side rods, and I'm using a Nakioshi James as an example because it's all I have since I don't have a Thomas Engine Collection Series James. Next we are having a look at the Tender, which is repurposed from the Push Along All Engines Go James. And aside from the wheels being a lot different, I also saw that the number 5 also looks a lot smaller compared to the one on the All Engines Go James. And that I am glad that the Tender isn't squashed compared to the pre-All Engines Go push-alongs, like with this Gordon that I repainted into Wickham as an example. I didn't want to risk setting off my motorized talking engines again, so I just went with Wickham instead. With that being said, James is another great example of how brilliant the new push-along engines are. So with the new push along James out of the way, and I do recommend you pick one up when you do, and I give the new push along Thomas, James and Percy a 10 out of 10, I think it's time we put some batteries in Nia and give her her first run. So I've now put the batteries inside Nia and she's ready to go. Also had to redo this one because she originally derailed over there. It does also look quite messy, given that I was filming for Ryan and the Lost Treasure, which explains why some of the pack members and pirate ship and one using for the dynamite incident are in this. Not another derailment. So that there concludes my review on the new Motorised 2025 Nia, the new push along CGI James. For the next new Motorised and push along stuff that I'm planning on reviewing, I will also be getting the new Motorised Talking Thomas and some of the packs and the Fickerstown set that I keep forgetting the name of. Although I am hoping we do get another wave with Edward, Henry, Toby, Rebecca, Emily, Oliver and Rosie. I would like to see Toby sold with Henrietta and Oliver sold with Toad when they do make the two of them. And as for what new push along item I hope to get next, I will hopefully be getting the Henry in the pack, like what I said before. Not sure about the Storybook Thomas because that might be very tricky to find, even on the internet. So don't know if I'll be getting that, but I can assure you that I will hopefully be able to get Henry soon in that pack once I have enough money for it. Thank you all for watching, and I will see you again in my next review. And this is your friend Malachi, signing off. Peace out and goodbye.